name is Chanisha Lewis, and I'm a licensed mental health counselor here at New Visions Charter High School for Advanced Math and Science. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how you may be able to tell if your child is experiencing depression or emotional difficulties. There are many misconceptions about depression and what it might look like. What depression is not, or clinical depression is not, is your basic ebbs and flows and ups and downs and highs and lows that you may experience on a daily basis based on the situations that we all experience here and there. Everyone has highs and lows and everyone has their moments. Teenagers adjust especially well when it comes to difficult times. If your teenager has a strong sense of self, if they are strong academically and they have a pretty good social circle, then they will probably be able to bounce back pretty easily from any kinds of setbacks. What we're talking about is something that lasts a little bit longer than 2 weeks and really affects overall behavior and lifestyle. Depression is an overwhelming feeling of sadness, despair, and sometimes even anger, especially in teenagers. What they might be experiencing is frequent crying, loss of interest in activities, changes in sleeping and eating habits, as well as withdrawal from family and friends. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what some of the differences are between what adults experience as depression and what teenagers experience with depression. Irritability versus sadness. Most adults experience sadness and their depression looks exactly as it sounds. But with teenagers, there's irritability, there's anger outbursts, and there's a lot of hostility that you might see. So if you notice that your teenager is angry and their mood and their behavior has changed and it's declined, then that's a symptom that you might want to look out for. There's also unexplained aches and pains. If you notice that your child is frequently wanting to stay home from school and complains from being sick and having headaches, yet they have a clean bill of health, it's really important to talk to your doctor about some other options and alternatives to what could be possibly going on with your child. Also, if you notice that your child gets pretty decent grades, really pretty high grades, and if they are not able to take any kind of criticism or feedback, you might want to look into what's going on. It's usually the child that almost overachieves. So they might get an A, and if they get a B or an A minus, they're really upset and they have a hard time coping with that. Lastly, teenagers don't necessarily stop socializing, but you might notice a change in the crowds that they hang out with. They might socialize less. And if you're pretty close to your child, if they stop hanging out with you and they withdraw from you, you might want to look into what's going on and how they're doing. Some of the effects that you might notice overall, and that will be telltale signs that there might be some emotional struggles or depression, is runaway behavior, coming home late, lack of attendance at school, problems and behavioral issues at school, drug and or alcohol abuse, reckless behavior, internet addiction, violence, and overall low self-esteem. One thing that I really want to talk to you about so that you can really get a clear picture of what depression can look like at its worst is self-injury and suicidal thoughts and ideation. Unfortunately, one of the things that comes along with depression is wanting to hurt yourself and wanting to create a permanent solution for a temporary problem. If you notice that your child or anyone you know is suicidal or wanting to hurt themselves, speak up, call 911, or get to the nearest emergency room. It's not your job to decide whether or not this person is actually serious. Just make sure that you get them the help right away. Some telltale signs include talking and or joking about suicide frequently, saying I'd be better off dead or there's no way out. If you notice that your child is writing stories, reading stories, or writing poetry that has to do with suicide or self-injury, keep an eye out for that. Any kind of reckless behavior, use of weapons, and access to dangerous things in the household, giving away prized possessions, or saying goodbye. Just noticing that they're saying their goodbyes. You might be wondering, what do I do next as a parent if I notice that my child is struggling with depression? Be patient. Take a deep breath. and talk to your child about what they're experiencing. The other thing is to make sure that you just listen. Try not to judge, try not to give any kind of input, and try not to get frustrated. Another thing is to validate and acknowledge what your child is experiencing at that moment. You're not telling them that it's okay, you're just telling them that it's okay, that they're talking about it with you. The other thing is to get help. Seek out support and supportive services so that your child may receive the counseling services that they need so that they can get the treatment that they deserve. What parents should know once they've sought out treatment: be involved, ask questions, be understanding, avoid the blame game, learn about it, encourage physical activity, and please do not rely on medication alone as a way to support your child with their depression and their emotional disturbances. So once again, if there's ever a safety concern about you or anyone in your life, please dial 911 or report to your nearest emergency room. If you notice the symptoms that we talked about in your child or anyone you know, there is help. There is a website, www.1800lifenet.nyc. You can also call directly 1-800-LIFENET or 1-800-543-3638. Thank you.